Hi, my name is Kit Curtis. I'm an assistant professor at the University of California, San Diego. I'm here to tell you about our new paper in Gut.
Barrett's esophagus is a precursor to oesophageal adenocarcinoma, which we will abbreviate as OAC. By the numbers, Barrett's esophagus prevalence is about 1 to 2% in the general population. Patients with gastroesophageal reflux disease have a 5-fold relative risk of developing Barrett's. There are about 10,000 total OAC cases per year, and unfortunately, 90% were never part of a Barrett surveillance program. Finally, the rate of progression from non-dysplastic Barrett's to esophageal adenocarcinoma is less than 0.3% per year. The main question we sought to answer in our study was, does all esophageal adenocarcinoma come from Barrett's patients?
This question is too complex to answer on the back of an envelope because of the complex processes in Barrett's esophagus evolution. Therefore, we employed a computational model to help us answer our study question.
We modeled both the onset of Barrett's esophagus and the progression of Barrett's to esophageal adenocarcinoma. As a brief background, we employ the Multistage model for esophageal adenocarcinoma that's been calibrated to US cancer registry data by means of a hazard function. This model allows stochastic events to occur in Barrett's esophagus crypts that can form premalignant and malignant cell clones that grow with certain probabilities and progress to cancer in some cases. The only inputs for this model are the prevalence of GERD for specific ages and by sex, which is shown by P-GERD. The other input is the US OAC incidence curves. The other quantities are model outputs, such as Barrett's esophagus prevalence and the progression rate to esophageal adenocarcinoma.
The multistage model was previously calibrated to surveillance epidemiology and end results registry incidence curve data, stratified by sex and 10-year group birth cohorts from 1900 to 1959. The model hazard shows fits by birth cohort that represent OAC incidence curves that are consistent with SEER data trends, shown separately for men and women.
Next, we looked at what the model predicted for the year 2010. The model estimated that there were 2.2 million adults who had prevalent Barrett's esophagus, which is 1.6% of the general US population. This was in line with the 1 to 2% expected Barrett's prevalence. These estimates were also validated using the Clinical Outcomes Research Initiative study, which looked at the Barrett's prevalence by age in both men and women, considering those in the general population, which contribute to the OAC cases in our model. To compute the expected number of OAC cases for men and women, we used that OAC hazard function, as well as the person years at risk in each birth cohort from US Census data. Using these, the model computes that over age 40 in 2010, between men and women, there's a total of 9,970 cases of OAC, with a 95% confidence interval of 9,140 to 11,980, which was remarkably close to the 10,000 total OAC cases expected. Lastly, the BE to OAC annual progression rate in non-dysplastic Barrett's in men was estimated to be 0.1 to 0.2%, again in line with the expected 0.1 to 0.3%. Thus, our model suggests that nearly all OAC likely comes from Barrett's esophagus, given clinical study data.
Although the overall progression rate to esophageal adenocarcinoma is low in patients diagnosed with Barrett's, for those patients who have hygrosplasia or early OAC detected on surveillance, effective treatments can save their lives. These surveillance strategies need to improve, but our study concluded that there's a strong rationale for Barrett's esophagus screening in order to reduce esophageal adenocarcinoma mortality. Thank you for listening, and be sure to check out our full paper in Gut.